Thank you, Jacob and Daniel. All right, so last year here at DevOps Enterprise Europe, all of us were awed and amazed at the presentation from Nationwide Building Society, the largest organization of its kind, from Patrick Eltridge, their Chief Operating Officer, and Janet Chapman, one of the three mission leaders. They presented on their DevOps journey and how they were able to respond, adapt, and better serve their customers during the worst economic downturn in nearly a century. And I am so delighted that this year we have another team from Nationwide presenting. Leanne Bridges has spent decades in compliance and is their risk COE lead and the chief product owner for intelligent control. She will be presenting with Mark Rendell, their DevOps and SRE ways of working consultant. They will be presenting on the challenge that every technologist faces in terms of ensuring security and compliance. I love this talk because it highlights the sometimes absurd hoops that every product team needs to go through when they're trying to do the right thing, and what the world could look like if one actually designs the control environment to truly make it easy to do the right things and do the right things right. And if you think that compliance controls all fit into a continuous delivery pipeline, I know that you'll be blown away too. So here's Leanne and Mark.
Hello and welcome. We're here from Nationwide Building Society in the UK, and we're going to talk to you about creating safe and controlled environments where teams can thrive doing DevOps. We'll introduce you to our beloved Nationwide Building Society, provide you some context on what drove us into action, and then we'll describe what we did, and of course, most importantly, what we learned. But first of all, we'll introduce ourselves. So my name's Leanne Bridges, and I'm the Chief Product Owner for Intelligent Control at Nationwide. I often say that I feel like I've been training for this role for my whole career, having spent 20 plus years in compliance oversight and assurance roles. What we're building is really what I wish I had when I started out. If you've ever been through a post-incident review or an audit finding, you will know how frustrating it is to have someone tell you that the cause was something really simple yet overlooked. Being someone that's told someone that news is just heartbreaking, and it's just so frustrating for everyone. My goal with this work is to really help minimize that failure, to support the ongoing assurance and compliance activity in our organization, but also to help my colleagues build good things.
And I'm Mark Rendell, and I drive the ways of working experiments that we run into DevOps and Site Reliability Engineering, or SRE. But the biggest surprise of this role for me has been going from navigating or even fearing controls to really respecting them and dare I say, loving them. I've learned so much, and the jargon, the language barrier between Leanne and me at the start was immense, but hugely rewarding to get over that. And what we've built and what we're sharing and is hugely valuable to Nationwide, and I think super interesting for your organizations as well.
Which makes me really happy, because I've always believed that creativity can love constraint and DevOps can love controls.
So Nationwide is the world's largest building society and the UK's second largest mortgage provider and one of the UK's largest savings providers. Our origins lie in a company formed in Wiltshire in England in 1846, so 175 years ago. But during our long history, we've often been first to market with technology innovations. So we launched the first internet retail banking service in 1997, and then the first mobile banking platform in 2012. We're very proud of our society, and this slide highlights many good reasons for that. Last year, we helped 1 in 6 first-time buyers buy their own homes, and we created a £1 billion loan fund to incentivize greener homes. Last year, Patrick Eltridge and Janet Chapman talked to you about our pivot from functional alignment to the establishment of our long-lived business-aligned member missions. Our journey of improving ways of working is still progressing brilliantly, and that's why we're here today. So we're not going to talk to you about why or how to do DevOps. We assume you already have a vision of what good looks like and have some pockets of great success, and you're already sure that you want to scale things up. We want to talk to you about creating an environment where teams doing DevOps can thrive and even be reinforced and encouraged by controls. So for that, we need our controls to be appropriate, i.e. they must only exist in response to relevant risks. They must be executed via efficient processes that minimize extraneous cognitive load, and they must promote autonomy, or as we call it in Nationwide, accountable freedom. Before we get properly started in our story, we wanted to share a metaphor that we find useful. Forget DevOps, forget financial services, forget IT just for a second, and consider a teenager. We've all been one once. So adolescents are enthusiastic and ambitious. They're starting to do new things that have greater consequences, like driving a car, and they love to challenge the status quo. And we see a parallel here to teams doing DevOps. They've read the Unicorn Project, they know there's a better way. Perhaps they were once a proof of concept, but they're growing up and they've got live services now, and the wonders of GDPR and PCI compliance are in scope for their services. But maybe, just maybe, they still feel a bit rebellious when it comes to navigating risks and controls. The guardians of teenagers have a pretty tough, and some might often say thankless task. They're still legally and morally accountable for the teenager, but their role has to evolve. They know that they need to enable more autonomy for the teenagers to thrive. And guardians of teenagers are one way to conceptualize the risk and control functions that we're talking about. They know agility is essential for business survival. They know streamlined team autonomy is a key enabler, but they still have to preserve safety. And in the case of a regulated industry like banking, this is to retain a license to remain in business. So this is a time for empathy and understanding, and maybe even a time for some family values